Shabbat Shalom. I feel like it's going to snow tonight. It is really cold out there. I have not lived in Michigan in over 20 years, so I feel like a Floridian with this blood. We are so lucky to have the Jammin' Jews here tonight, led by Barbara Mazer, and I am joined on the Bima by the Reamers. I'm just so happy to have you guys up here. And we have all been met today, have been greeted by our board representative. Steve is back there, and we are going to begin with what I like to call the Hanukkah Mega Mix. So Barbara, maybe you can explain why we're doing Hanukkah right now.
We're getting in the mood. We're getting in the mood. Hanukkah's so late this year, so we're just getting in the mode. So this is to kind of get you in the Hanukkah spirit.
Is it a violin or a viola?
It's a violin and it's a fiddle.
A violin and fiddle. Amazing, amazing. So this Shabbat, I want to give thanks to Greg for being here. I want to thank Gary, who is head of our maintenance staff this evening. I want to make sure that all of us acknowledge the officer who's out in the Miller Founders Hall to greet us this evening. But I want to thank each of you. We have quite a few people here who, whether you're a snowbird or not, please keep your snow in the north. We are so happy to have you. So if you'll just raise your hand if this is your first or second time at the congregation. You won't have to say anything. Wonderful. So we have about 5 or 6 of you. Come back often, and you can always raise your hand and say you're a newcomer. But it's great to have you. So we are going to begin with the candle lighting on page 2. I would like to invite up Stan and Linda, who are going to lead us in this blessing. This may be the second time I've put Shabbat candles today. We did have a top Shabbat this morning. Page 2.
Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehalik ner v'tzivanu Lehalik ner shel Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
We continue now with the Kiddush on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho be'ava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit uyom tehillah lemikroei kodesh zeher letziyat mitzrayim kivanu
offer you this special blessing for life, both of you. Yivrachecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yarei Adonai panav elecha v'nichunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God protect you and keep you. May God shine God's countenance upon you. And may you being in this world make this world better. Amen. We're going to continue now on page 20 with the singing of Lakado B. To page 26. I hope that when you were at our pre-neg, you enjoyed all of the cookies, all of the yumminess, but I want to thank Ann Platt, who honored us with tonight's pre-neg in honor and in memory of her mother, Helene. So thank you so much. We're going to continue now with a Chetzi Kaddish, page 26.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
B'yom ha'dev malchute b'yom lit malchute. Becha hayechon uv'yom echon. U'chayet kol beit Yisrael. Bagala u'bizman kariv. V'meru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach. Le'olam omek hamaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitpa'ar v'yitrama v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalel v'yithalal. Shemei dekudasha barichu. Lechilam min kol berata v'shihirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Dami hidran v'alma. V'meru amen.
We join together in English on page 27 as we prepare for the Baruch Hu. Join me at the bottom. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. Although the words don't change, I pray we do. As we join together, I ask you to rise if you are able. The words of the Baruch Hu are on page 28. I invite you to remain standing. Take a very, very deep breath. In 1 week, our sanctuary will be filled not only with the lights of our Chanukiot, but it will be filled with the feeling of the Festival of Lights. In 5 weeks, our sanctuary and our synagogue will be filled with the feeling of the Art Festival of Beth-El. Let the art and the beauty of that and the journey up to it and through it truly be part of what we give thanks for as we welcome in this, our unifying prayer, the Shema. Take one more deep breath. Let out the rest of 2024 in that exhale. I don't know who's laughing, but we're going to do it again. So take it in. Truthfully, try to let go. As we move ourselves into the shortest days of the year, the coldest, the darkest, let us fill our souls, fill our room, fill ourselves with this light as we join in the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael,
כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
You may be seated if it's your custom. We continue on page 36. And yes, Laura, truthfully, 5 weeks away. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. So last Shabbat, on Saturday morning, we went to the Saturday morning market, and I was joined with 34 of you that are sitting here. That was my first time doing that. Now, I've been to the market probably 6 times and could not figure out how we were going to create sacred space next to like Beef Jerky Man and the beads, but we absolutely did. And I'm so grateful. I love seeing so many of you here tonight. And we talked about that morning the second paragraph, or actually the third paragraph of the Shema, which we do on mornings because we're wearing a talit. We have the tzitzit. So I invite any of you, all of you, to join us next month, in 3 weeks from now, as we go back to the market. You can find the date in the program, because it's a little bit bizarre, it's a little bit surreal, and it's a lot bit fabulous. I mean, it is pretty nice to stand in public and to be able to use our liturgy and sing our songs and to create community. So thank you for all of you who are there. And we're going to double that next week, and next month. And I have a feeling the beef jerky guy might join in also. He was pretty interested in what we were singing. We're going to continue now with the Micha Mocha on page 40.
Adonai,
beautiful service on the Bima. You might have seen in the video, we had our 5th, 6th, and 7th graders lead us for Shabbat. How many of you were there for that? And they got up and did dance moves and were really excited about being Jewish, which is really nice to see. And after that, I thought we were done signing kids up for camp, but we got our 12th kid to camp with one more on the waiting list. So we are now up to 13 kids that will be going, hopefully, please God, to URJ summer camps, including Barbara's 2 and my 2, and maybe it's staff run that we're getting so many kids, but it makes a huge difference. And I really want to let you know in a very verbal way from the Bima that Jewish kids going to camp makes an unbelievable impact on Jewish families when they get home and on our congregation once they get home. And one of the deals that we have with our kids is that they'll have to speak from the Bima about their experiences. It's a great way not only to get our kids up here, but also for you to hear what happens. How many of you went to summer camp, Jewish, otherwise, URJ? Look around. That's unbelievable. That is about 80% of the people here tonight. It makes a difference, I don't have to tell you. So as our brotherhood and sisterhood and 3 of our other funds are helping to get our kids to camp, you're helping also, just by being here. So we continue now with a prayer on page 45. It's called Eternity Utters a Day. It's based off the English reading at the bottom of the page.
I learned this at camp.
Where Barbara and I were next door neighbors. And Rabbi Torup and Betsy Torup.
La da da, la da da, la da da da, la da da.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Maot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nechem L'Ma'an Shemo V'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'etzrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mekayeh Akol Atah Rav Lehoshia Ma'ashiv HaRuach Morid Hagah Hashem Mekachel Hayim Behesed Mekayeh HaKol Berakamim Rabim Sohomek Noflim Mirofeh Holim Umatir Asurim Umekayeh Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'o Gifurot Umidomer Laha Melech Meimi Dumahayeh Umatmiak Yeshua, Bnei Amana Talachayot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekayeh HaHakol, Atah Kadosh, V'Shimcha Kadosh, Kedushim B'Kol Yom L'Kahalu HaSela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. On page 60, we come to our prayer for peace. I've been talking with the different Bar Mitzvah students about the different liturgy, because as we move forward, they will be introducing what the different prayers mean to them, because I felt that as they mature, what I wish I would have had as a kid was kind of understanding what the prayers were about before just saying them and rising and sitting down. So I was meeting with one of our upcoming Bat Mitzvah students, and she said, peace. I said, how do you make peace? And she said, well, I take care of my body, I exercise, I sleep, I eat right. And she was talking, and I said, you heard what I said, right? Peace. And she said, of course I heard what you said, but inner peace, that's what you're talking about, right? And I really had to pause. Yeah, this prayer is about inner peace. It's also about world peace. It's about peace in our homes, peace in our hearts. But for this one teenager, that's what it was about for her, and that's where she connected. And so as we arrive at our prayer for peace, take this prayer into your own heart. What kind of peace are you praying for? Are you connecting with? And as we do so collectively, think of those moments of peace. We turn to page 60 for the singing of Shalom Rav. As we continue through the Amidah, we think about how on Shabbat we're not taught to ask for anything at this point. We're taught to give thanks. And so if there's anything that you're grateful for that you want to share out loud, I invite you to do so. Just raise your hand, and I would love to hear it, because as I bring up every single week, someone might hear something you say and realize, oh, I did not even pause to think that that absolutely is a moment of gratitude. Now, I will tell you, I have to repeat what you're saying for our 30 to 40 online congregants who won't hear you, but they'll hear my microphone. So if anyone has anything. Yes, thank you, Eugene. Eugene is grateful for the beautiful music. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Eugene went first. None of you have to. Yes, Mickey.
I'm very grateful to have the brotherhood all my life.
Beautiful.
It's a group of guys that think of not only themselves, but their neighbors, their friends. And more men should be belonging to brotherhood. It's a great organization.
I love that. I can't say it with as much feeling as Mickey did, but I think you felt it. Mickey said he's grateful for the brotherhood and for their role in his life, in their neighbors' lives, in the community's lives. And then he extended that more men should be in this group. And I will say that I got to be I don't know how I put it. Well, I showed up at a Brotherhood event. There's really no way to put it. Maybe slightly uninvited. But to see the 30 men sitting there really in fellowship and truthfully, as you said, Mickey, caring about one another, it was a very holy moment. There was education going on and libation, but there was a lot of holiness. And it was, truthfully, thank you for bringing that forward, Mickey. Not only do they have events, but also on Sunday, they have the schmooze. And I'm loving that people are coming to Sunday morning schmooze that do not have religious school kids, that although it's right before religious school starts and it's open to those families, it's open to our entire community. So if you are looking for a place to ride your bike, as Robin and Helen on Sunday rode their bikes here for schmooze.
I'd like to also add Sunday schmooze, any funds that go into the basket help support Camp Coleman.
Thank you, Mickey. So they collect funds. There's a basket on the side, and any funds that they get go towards helping kids get to summer camp. Camp Coleman is specifically what he said. So thank you, Mickey, for everything. Yes, please, Ted.
I'm grateful for the part of our community that cannot be here, having the ability to be here, including Joel Cohen, who sends his regards from Toronto.
Thank you. So he's shared that he's grateful to be able to be here, although not everyone can be here, and specifically sends regards from Joel Cohen, who is in Toronto, I know, with his partner, and we are so grateful that you are here and that you are able to be here. There's a lot of quiet gratitude. Yes, Gideon.
I am for a whole sin. I will have faith to be in.
Nice. So Gideon said he's grateful because soon he's going to have a new job. Mazel tov. Did you want to share more about it? Did I cut you off?
I'm not sure what it is yet.
Cool.
I will share what it is.
Awesome. So Gideon said he's not quite sure what his new job is yet, but once he knows, he will share it with us. Thank you so much for that. Anything else? I won't stay here all day. Don't worry. Yes, please. Grateful for your dog and what? Give us love. How many of us have fur children? How many of us bring our fur children on the screen during Zoom calls, or they choose to make appearances? Yes. They are a huge part of our family, so thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. So, yes, please.
I'm grateful for a person whose home was damaged during the flood, who's living with me for 6 months. And she is a light in my life.
Wow.
I have a great time with her.
That's amazing. So she shared that she's happy that someone whose house was destroyed during the storm moved in with her and been living with her for 6 months or for 6 months, and that she's brought light into her life. And that is pretty amazing what sometimes we can do with a really crummy situation. So thank you. Not only for opening your home, but really opening your heart to the opportunity that can be a positive experience. So I am, yes, please, excuse me, Kat, go ahead.
My entire family will be here next week.
That's huge.
I got both sets of parents and all my siblings.
Wow. So Kat's whole family will be here next week. Both sets of, tell me again? Both sets of parents, siblings, and their families as well. So what is going on next week? Oh, 101 menorahs. So we have almost 200 people signed up to join us in the sanctuary and for dinner, which will be catered by Boys in the Hood, our brotherhood, as well as Chives, Ken from Chives. And we will have an opportunity to light all of our Chanukiot, all of our Hanukkah menorahs in the sanctuary, and Jammin' Jews will be there, 2 Jews, and the choir, and we'll have, I think, Joyce and Barbara and everyone. So please, like Kat, bring more people.
And the choir will be singing.
Yep, I'm going to elevate that even louder. The choir is singing. Absolutely. Amen. So we did find the choir robes today in the loft if they want to wear those. Or if any of you want to wear them. We seem to have about 30. So I am grateful for health. My brother and his family are coming in tonight from Brooklyn. And I am very proud to be a homeowner and get to show my big brother that I am an adult. So at 46, I am, still his little sister, so I'm excited for him to come in, but to have health to be able to enjoy him. So as we turn our page to 253 and we turn our thoughts to those who are in need of healing, I invite you to, in a moment, say some of those names out loud if you would like, or in your heart, after I read the names of our congregants who have asked for prayers for healing. We're thinking of Sarah Gastman, Terry Gilner, Barbara Storensis, Tzvi Dov Ben Binyamin Vishendel, Brian Cartwright, Jordana Fuller, Goran Kissick, Stan Silverberg, Marcia Turkin, and Matthew Sternberg Yee. If I mispronounced your loved one's name, I'm sorry. Please repeat it, as well as any other names you'd like to include for healing.
Jeff Wallace.
And so with all those names, again, we're on page 253. We join in the prayer Misha Berach. Pray refuat hanefesh for refuat haguf, refuat shlema, complete and total healing. And if that doesn't look the way that we're asking for it, let us at least know that our prayers matter, and let us say amen. We take a few moments to close our prayer books and speak the words of our hearts as we turn to silent meditation. Following that, we'll turn on to page 62 for the singing of Yehiyu L'Ratzon. This week's Torah portion is Vayeshev, which literally means and he dwelled. So we are talking about Jacob still, who settles in Hebron with his 12 sons. I spoke about it a little bit this morning, but his favorite son, of which this is now the second Torah portion in a very short time when we talk about favorite children, is Jacob's son Joseph. So we're told that he's about 17 years old. So imagine you're about 17. At this time, they weren't going off to college and they weren't Israeli going off to the army, but you can imagine what a 17-year-old might feel like. And his brothers, which maybe you can relate to also, feel super jealous that he is their dad's favorite. So I just want a raise of hands. How many of you are a younger sibling? How many of you are older siblings? And how many of you are only children? I don't know what to do with that group. It's just interesting to see. But the fact is that his brothers could not handle the fact that he was the favorite. And it wasn't just he was the favorite. The father really treated him differently. So much so that this precious coat of many colors that Jacob gives to his son Joseph, if you've seen the movie, the musical, or anything in between, he flaunts it around. In fact, in the musical, it's like 3 dance songs about specifically how happy he is with his coat. But in the Torah, we do read that his brothers are very upset with him. And that's really keeping it lightly. What they do is they go out on a mission and they throw their brother into a pit. The plan originally, or that's what we're told, was that they would go back and get him out of the pit, but just teach him a lesson, right? How many of you have either said or been told it was to teach you a lesson? Right, that's a rough one, right? However, while he's in the pit, some Ishmaelites pass by the pit and he is sold into slavery. So an unintended repercussion of it's supposed to teach you a lesson. Now, they take his coat, the brothers, remaining brothers, take Joseph's coat, and they dip it, they had brought a goat with them, and they dip it in blood. And they go back and show their aging father, look, father, this is the blood of your favorite son. What happens here, I can only imagine. We aren't told exactly what Jacob does, although he obviously was very affected by it. What we are told is the journey now that Joseph goes on. And we'll spend the next 4 or 5 parshiot talking about this character, Joseph. I want to stop, though, and talk about unintended consequences. I'll say it again, unintended consequences, even for well-intentioned actions. I want you to think for a second, I won't ask you, but how many times have you intended something in a positive way that has landed negatively? Now think about how many times today you've done that. I see so many eye rolls. Yeah, I did do that. I did it. I can imagine some of you have done it. Sometimes, and I'm learning this more and more, our intentions, although Judaism says it's the most important thing that goes into our actions, our intentions sometimes are secondary to the unintended consequences of our intentions. So I want you to think of an example in your life where you did mean well by what you did. You meant so well by it that you were almost confused when it landed in a negative way. You were almost baffled how someone else could interpret what you just did as negative. I see so many heads nodding right now. I am not alone in this. Sometimes, I don't know if you're like me, I wish someone was in my head sometimes as I process the positive intention. Because when it comes back to us, a response of how dare you, or I can't believe you did that, is so alarming. It's so disarming because it's so far from what our intentions were. So this is a story in the Torah, and we read about many stories in the Torah where our intentions did not, or their intentions did not line up with the actions. But I was thinking recently of a kid that Ezra goes to school with. And that kid who has, I would say, probably little resources at home and therefore comes to school very often in the same clothes, not a great lunch, doesn't have, the most exciting vacations to talk about or the most vibrant stories to imagine. I'm so clear in our society that resources, whether you're born with less resources or come into less resources, affect all of those things. Your ability to imagine, your health, your wealth, obviously, but also your sense of being. So this kid, every day I hear, goes in with a smile on his face, walks in every day, smile on his face. And every day, verbally, he removes that smile from his face. Or let me say it a little differently. His life removes that smile from his face throughout the day. Now, it's not a particular kid that bullies this kid. It's not a particular teacher that doesn't stand up for him. In fact, the kids share lunches, and the teacher often will bring clothing, and there's so many well-intended things that are brought towards this kid, and they're not all things. A lot of them are really, truly just intentions, inclusivity, friendship, curiosity. But every day I hear this kid leave school, and I can see it in the carpool lane with a sullen face. God, he just looks so upset. And so I got an email a while back from the teacher asking for all of us to help out someone in the class. You know, that's not an odd email to receive, and I can imagine many of your educators, not an odd email to send. It was, the child remained anonymous, but you know, if you have a kid in the class, you knew what was going on. And so we were able to collect money and clothing. We were able to make sure they had a Thanksgiving dinner. We brought in, you know, everything in line with our mitzvot that we have for our kids, for their mitzvah projects, for us in our lives, for mitzvah day, all these things. And I asked, after that was given to the family, what was the kid's reaction? And what do you assume the kid's reaction was? What? Yeah, he was embarrassed. Exactly right, Myrna. No matter how well-intended all of us were, the teacher, all the parents, the other kids, we thought we were doing the right thing, and that kid, because he walked out knowing that he was taking all that stuff home, was embarrassed. No matter how well-intended we are sometimes, there are opportunities where we've missed the mark because of how it lands. I was at this luncheon and I heard about this organization locally called The Closet, right? Now, I have to keep looking at Kat because I'm going to have to fact check. I don't have C-SPAN or anyone else to fact check me. But this closet is this local woman's organization, but you can kind of not franchise it, but put The Closet in other locations. What she has done is she's a teacher in St. Pete Public Schools, and she has turned a janitor's closet into a shelter, a food shelter, a clothing shelter, not a place to live. And different donations come in there, and she is aware of the kids that are in need. But the one piece that I want to call to light here, besides that you should look online and check this out because it's pretty amazing, is the point that she made about not embarrassing the person who is going to receive those items. She went ahead and took school backpacks monogrammed with the public school's name on it and would just pull the kid aside in the hallway and ask for their backpack. I'm looking for a book, a notebook, and put stuff in the backpack. And the kid would walk off with the same school backpack everyone else had. And that kid would go on the bus with that same school backpack, not a Walmart bag of socks, not canned goods in their hand, but in their backpack. And the next day the backpack might come empty, or in a few days it might come empty on the sibling's back. And again, it got stuffed. And this idea of not embarrassing, that is a very Jewish idea. Now, frankly, we do not have a monopoly on do not embarrass, and unfortunately, Jews are not unique to the fact that oftentimes we do embarrass one another unintentionally. But the fact that one of our midah, one of our Jewish values, is not to embarrass, that's so pivotal, brings me to what happened last week on the Bima. How many of you were able, I'm not going to say, how many of you were moved by the conversion on the Bima last week? Whether you were here, or you saw it, or you heard of it. It was so interesting to me. I have permission to talk about this, and I always make sure that I do. Charlie converted last week, and when I was asking some of my colleagues prior to his conversion about the process they go through with conversion, I found that it was unique that I do it publicly. And I didn't realize it was unique. You know, in the morning we do mikvah, they go and do that by themselves, they submerge in the water, and then in the afternoon, a beit din, a board of rabbis, and they talk about their journey and are asked content questions. And then in the evening, how I was taught by my rabbi and by the rabbis I've learned from, the congregation has to welcome them in symbolically into the community. So the morning might be individual, the afternoon leadership, and the evening is the community, the kahal. What I was told is Rabbi, you can't put a person who's converting up on the bima in front of the whole sanctuary. That is embarrassing. Now, it's interesting. It was actually told to me that could be embarrassing. And I think a lot of us can see why. And it gave me such a different perspective. This thing that I was intending so positively to welcome, and this is not the case with Charlie, he was very happy to do it publicly, but the idea that I've converted so many people, or I've been a part of that process, and have always done a public component, I never once asked, because I don't know that they would have brought up any discomfort. Do you want to do this public component? Because in Judaism, once someone converts, we're never supposed to bring it up. They can bring it up. It's not something to be embarrassed by, but it's as if they were at Sinai when all of us received the Torah. And so you never again bring up that they weren't born that way. Because in truth, a lot of times we say that someone's coming home to their Judaism when they convert. And so this notion that I was bringing people on the bima in celebration, in such awe that someone's committing a life of Judaism by choice, it was so positively intended. And yet, for the first time, after being a rabbi 20 years, I learned that last piece, that that's not regularly done. It was so well intended. And in Charlie's case, it landed exactly how I intended it. But I keep thinking about people who aren't able to speak up, especially to someone who's in a position of formalizing their Judaism or signing off on that. But I also think about times in our jobs where we don't speak up. I think about times in our relationships where maybe we don't feel like speaking up or don't feel we're able to speak up. There's so many times, even within a day, where we come across another human being, another creature, B'Tselem Elohim, created in God's image, that we don't feel we can speak up towards. And so I really have to think, what does my process of conversion look like? But I can guarantee you it now includes a question. How would it make you feel if? And that brings me back to where we started. Sometimes when our intentions are misunderstood, it's because we didn't ask a question. How many times can those initial things that you thought about, where your intentions did not land how you wanted, in fact, they landed almost the opposite, in Hebrew we say afuch, on their heads, how many times would those situations have been changed, shifted, altered, had you asked one question? How would it make you feel? There's a lot of questions we can ask. Did you understand what I just said? Can you repeat back to me what I just said? How does it make you feel when this happens? Or what would you tell a friend in the same situation? Guys, there's so many things we can do, and it's about one question long to make sure that our intentions, especially when we have such good, pure intentions, land the way that we want them. For this kid that was embarrassed, his family needed the help, so I'm glad they received help. But in the middle of that, a child felt horrible about himself. For numberless people that I have performed conversions for, and maybe there's a handful of them that would not have wanted to be publicly brought up in front of the congregation, I don't have the opportunity now to go back and say, how would it make you feel? But going forward, and that's where any of us can go now, add one more sentence. Because our intentions do matter in Judaism and in humanity. But sometimes, if we're unlucky enough, how they land is what's remembered, not the intentions. So this Shabbat, I pray that we take pause, that we take time to not only put what we believe into action, but to make sure that action lands where we want it to land. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to continue with Aleinu. That sounds great. Yes. We're going to continue. Thank you, Mike, for laughing. Page 282. We rise, please, for the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, atei gdula yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kuyei haratzot, velo hasamanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo salkahenu kahem, vegohar aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anaknu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yikeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. Page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And if you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. As we think of those who are no longer in our lives, especially at the time of holidays, no matter what holiday, we think about maybe it was gathering around the Chanukiah and lighting candles, maybe it was a special winter coat you got every year, maybe it was, who knows, but we think about them, and they're a part of us, and they're a part of our lives. So we think of those in our congregation first who are within the Shloshim, the 30 days of passing. We think of Jeanette Wilborn, Edward Lurie, Dennis Horn, Jacqueline Zakroff, and Jonna Douglas. Observing a yahrzeit, a yearly anniversary of their passing, we think of Hermione Ableys, Max Ableys, Chuck Baranczyk, Margie Baranczyk, Norman Brock, Santo Cagliosi, Claire Damashek, David Damashek, Helen D., Marjorie Fab Friedman, Jack Greenberg, Jonathan Hale, Alice Herman, Ernest Hoffman, Lawrence Israel, Richard Kimmel, Laura Levine, Richard Lewis, Eduardo Marin, Maria Marin, Sarah Miller, Marvin Needles, Bill Oxman, Helene Platt, Shifra Rappaport, Colette Reich, Leo Rosenblum, Ruth Rubinsky, Jeannie Rudderman, Dolly Sakel, Harold Schaefer, Ann Silver, Jack Steiner, Paula Steiner, Lawrence Stern, Bess Turner, Morris Weinman, and Louise Weichel. I'm sure I mispronounced quite a few of those names. I'll ask you to pronounce them again, as well as include any additional names of those who you are saying Kaddish for at this time.
Ellen Lichterman.
Thank you.
Peter Miller and Martin Jackson.
William Lindsay.
Andrea Mel.
Julie Bloom.
Robert Goldfarb.
We take all of their names and all of their memories into our hearts. As we join in our prayer books on page 294, I invite the congregation to rise if you're able. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach cherute v'amlich malchute, b'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mivorach le'olam olmeo maya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudasha b'rechu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam levracha, may their memories forever be a blessing and a lesson for how we can live our lives, and let us say, amen. You may be seated. It's my honor to call up Eugene Lasansky, who always gives the best announcements, and as he's on his way up here, I hope that you will join me tomorrow morning for Torah study and brunch. It is a super yummy brunch and worth the entire morning, but we will also engage in a very meaningful conversation. So that will be down in the Strensis all-purpose room, and that's where we'll go in through the ECC gate, 10 o'clock.
Thank you. Always a wonderful service. Good evening and Shabbat Shalom, Temple Beth-El. I'm going to try to get to the things quickly because we have a lot of wonderful upcoming events. Tomorrow, as the rabbi said, we get messy with Torah study starting at 10 a.m. Bagels and lox. This Sunday morning, the 22nd, it's the Temple Brotherhood Schmooze at 8:45. Bagels and lox. Plus a lot of other goodies. And possibly a postprandial nap will be needed for the adults, but at 9:30, it's Sunday school for the kids. First night of Hanukkah is Wednesday the 25th, but the festivities really start next Friday night, the 27th, with a 101 menorahs service at 6 p.m., with festive songs, rituals, Chanukkiot lighting, surprise finale. The early oneg is at 5:30 as usual. The service is at 6. You do not need to sign up, just show up. But immediately following that service, the boys in the hood will be making latkes and sufganiyot, then a catered dinner. This is only $5 a person, but you must sign up on the temple website by Christmas Eve, which is 24th, by the way. Next Saturday, the 28th, it's a mitzvah minyan as temple members prepare and serve dinner to about 60 children and parents at the Ronald McDonald House here in St. Pete. Sunday the 29th, get ready for Hanukkah Pajamaka. Join us at the AMC Sundial Theater at 3:30 for a showing of the movie Wicked. That is $10 a head, and yes, please wear your pajamas. Phew! Details sign up on the temple website, and one quick aside, it's a show and tell. I was raised in what you might call an ultra-reform household, where my parents did not want us to miss any of the holiday fun. Yes, we had the traditional Hanukkah bush with tinsel, lights, and presents underneath. We also lit a menorah, spun dreidels, and collected those stale chocolate candies disguised as gelt. Mom and Dad were truly pluralistic. We embraced our Christian neighbors' traditions, and they embraced ours. So my mother was truly tickled when she spotted this newspaper advertisement in December of 1962. She cut it out, glued it on some Christmas wrapping paper, and it has been a holiday decoration in my family for 62 years now. An advertisement for a piano company in West Hartford, Connecticut. An exceptional Hanukkah offer. Now you can own a new piano, player piano, or organ, delivered by Santa and his elves just in time for Hanukkah. So there it is. I wish you all a happy Ramachana Kwanzmas.
I always look forward to you doing announcements, Eugene. So we are going to join in the singing of Motzi. I do want to thank the Reamers for being on the bima. I want to thank Jack particularly for making me feel like I dressed down this Shabbat. You look fabulous in your suit, both of you. Thank you for being up here. To our Jammin' Jews and Barbara, thank you. I can't wait also for next week for us, two of us, to be together. But also to all of our congregation and those watching who are observing Christmas or any other holiday, to any of our Jewish adjacents, Jewish becoming, people who love Jews, may you have a meaningful holiday season. And to all of us, may we bring light to our Chanukiah, that as each day continues, not only did the oil last, but so do our passions, our fight for what's right, our continued efforts to bring peace into the world and a love for one another. We will join in the words of Motzi, followed by the singing of Salam. I invite you to please rise.
Elohim,
Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akulam. Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akulam. Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Odibo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akulam.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.